Hello and welcome to the Leadership Dance Podcast, where we explore the art of leadership with trailblazers in business and the arts. If you enjoy this show, subscribe, share, and give it a 5-star rating. And if you're listening to this episode, also check out our YouTube channel at The Leadership Dance. I'm your host, Alissa Hsu Lynch, and today I'm joined by the one and only Misty Copeland. Misty is a trailblazing artist and advocate who has forever changed the face of ballet. She made history in 2015 as the first African-American woman ever promoted to principal dancer at American Ballet Theatre, inspiring millions of people around the world. Named one of Time's 100 most influential people, Misty is also a best-selling author, producer, and founder of the Misty Copeland Foundation, dedicated to expanding diversity and access in dance. This fall, she bid farewell to ABT in a historic gala performance, a celebration of her artistry, resilience, and lasting impact. I'm so excited you're here, Misty.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited, especially just days after, to be able to come in and speak to you.
So that's what I want to start with, is talking about that absolutely amazing ABT Gala that marked both your return to the stage and your final bow to an incredible career. You prepared for months to get in shape, and it was really a magical, unforgettable evening. Tell us more about the whole process leading up to it and how it felt to be back on stage at Lincoln Center with so many people cheering you on.
Wow. It was not an easy decision for me, and maybe that's a little shocking for some people. But I've clearly enjoyed my career and this incredible journey. It's gone beyond my wildest dreams. Just getting to American Ballet Theatre was the goal. And then, when I was given, so many opportunities by Kevin McKenzie, artistic director, throughout my journey, it started to change what I thought was possible for me in my career. And so, performance and being in the studio, all of that has been such a huge part of why I do what I do. During the pandemic, it was my 20th anniversary celebrating with the company. And Kevin McKenzie, I remember him saying, what are we going to do? We still weren't sure if the company was going to be on stage and performing and what that would look like. But he was like, but your 20th anniversary is coming up. What are we going to do? Are we going to do a big celebration? And I was like, no, I don't really want to. I don't know. I've just never felt the need for those types of celebrations. And so when it came to my farewell, I really didn't want to have one. I just, it was really difficult for me to really kind of step into it and feel confident and that I was ready to do it. I took 5 years off from the stage and really wanted to focus on things to me that are equally, if not more important than the work that I do performing on stage, through my foundation and the production company and, all of it with the goal of bringing dance to more people, to making it more inclusive. And so, yeah, the preparation was interesting. First, it was convincing myself that I, should do it. Mm-hmm. And it really did take me 5 years to get to that place of feeling like this isn't about me, which I think in my career, it's like I've continued to come back to that. This isn't about me. To me, this is a moment to say thank you. It's a moment of reverence, of gratitude for the company, for all of the incredible people who have poured into me, for the audiences who continue to show up for me, for the Black community, for the dance community. And so I think once I kind of got my head in that space, then it was like, okay, let's do this. Let's get on board. And then physically, it was a whole other story. After I'm 43 now, but stepping back into the studio after 5 years and having a baby, and it was extremely challenging, but also beautiful. Learning my new body as a dancer, which is what makes it so interesting and exciting, I think, as a dancer. Like our body, your body's constantly changing and evolving, not just as like a woman, but as a dancer, like from day to day, it can change. And so I love challenges. So to be able to explore my body in new ways and think like, well, how am I going to get to the goal when my body can't do what it once did or what I'm used to it doing? So it was quite an interesting journey to get there. And I ended up with some injuries that I was dealing with, but I wouldn't change the night at all.
Yes. Well, you were so beautiful on stage, and I never had the opportunity to see you dance beforehand, but it was just so incredible to be there that night. And I know you were in a lot of pain, but you couldn't tell at all. And the love that was present in that full house at Lincoln Center, and then particularly the 15-minute standing ovation at the end was, I mean, we were all in tears and just feeling like we were witnessing history happening with you and Calvin performing Romeo and Juliet for the first time together, and all the people coming on stage to hug you and give you flowers, that huge pile of flowers that you had. And then at the very end, your son and your husband coming on stage. How did that feel? Did he ever see you dance before?
That was Jackson's first time seeing me dance and seeing me perform on a stage. It was actually at Jillian Murphy's farewell this past summer that I decided I wanted him to come on stage. I'm definitely very private when it comes to my personal life and with my husband. And so both Olu and I, my husband, we never imagined that Jackson would be on a stage. Not in life. He loves dance, and who knows, maybe he'll be a performer. But in terms of with me and my career, and then I stood on the stage. I gave Jillian flowers at her amazing farewell, and her son Axel came on stage, and I just burst into tears. And I just thought, I don't care what Olu says, Jackson's coming on this stage, just to have that experience, to witness it. And it's just such a unique career that we have the opportunity to be a part of. And so that was when I made that decision.
Yes.
And I don't regret it at all. I mean, I really feel like he changed that night. He grew up or something. The next morning, Olu and I were saying, a star is born.
He was a natural on stage. I have to remark that he came on stage. He wasn't daunted at all with all the people on the stage and a house full of people. He was loving the gold confetti coming down, trying to catch it. Really cute. So I think another star is born.
I know. I was really shocked. I actually said to my husband as they were walking towards me, I was like, why aren't you holding his hand? And he said he wouldn't let me. He wanted to do this on his own. He wanted to give you the flowers. So it was really special.
So Misty, at the gala, you had Oprah, Debbie Allen, your first ballet teacher, Cynthia Bradley, there, and just so much love for you for your final performance. What did that feel like in the moment and at the end?
Yeah. It was overwhelming. I mean, I've been to all the farewells of all the great dancers at ABT, and it's always such an emotional and magical time. So it's just it's strange to be in that position yourself when you've watched it for so many years. But it meant everything to have these people that have been huge impacts in my life and just really big parts of my journey. Desmond Richardson and Lauren Anderson and Virginia Johnson, all of these, Alicia Graf, Mack, all of these incredible people from specifically the Black dance world. I was very proud and happy that they could be on the stage receiving their flowers as well, because I've not done this alone. And, having Debbie and having Oprah there, these are women that have opened the door for me to have a voice and to have a platform. And so it was just really special to be celebrating this evening, not just for me, but for so many who have gotten me here.
It was magical. So as you reflect on your ballet career, are there moments that stand out to you, whether it's working with a particular choreographer, an iconic role, or other special memories that you just come back to over and over again?
I feel like going through the process of preparing for this farewell opened my mind up and made me appreciate the process even more than I already did. And so I think that I'm always thinking about the friendships and the relationships that I've made, being a part of ABT and being a part of the dance world. that are always going to stay with me, like those moments in the studio with Kevin or with Irina Kopakova, with so many of the ballet masters and mistresses, with Susan Jaffe, actually. I spent so much of my career on and off working with her as a choreographer and as a ballet mistress, and so many things, like in specific, I remember Susan Jaffe saying to me, she had a short stint working as a ballet mistress at ABT.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. And I think she was coaching me on Gamzadi and La Bayadere. And I was really struggling with finding the confidence and really feeling like, this never happens at ABT, but I had to audition for the role for Natalia Makarova with kind of competing with like another dancer in the company. And I just remember it feeling so unnatural and just not feeling good about myself and just kind of just feeling overwhelmed by like outside noise. And I remember Susan saying to me, like, you have so much more control than you think you have. And to not let people's words define you, to not let people's words sink in and affect you. And that has stuck with me to this day. Whenever anyone asks me, like, what quote would you, and it's always that. And so it's moments like that, moments with Irina Kopakova in the studio. But I must say, in terms of like just performance and a defining moment in my career, I would say the very first time that I performed the Firebird in New York City at the Metropolitan Opera House, and to see really a cultural shift in ballet. And I remember all the work that was put in with me and my then manager, Gilda Squire, that, we really felt it was important that the Black community felt seen and included. And so I was spending my days off going to Brooklyn and to Harlem and to the Bronx and like all these different boroughs and going to public schools and speaking to kids and letting them know, like, you are me, and that I'm not just someone on TV or a poster on the wall. And then to see my Firebird poster, right, this massive image in front of the Metropolitan Opera House. And, it was one of those moments where it was like, again, like, that's not me. Like, that's a representation of so many people. And then to see the Black community turn out the way they did that night, it was literally a shift in who comes to see ballet to this day. And so that was a moment in time that I will forever remember.
Amazing. So at the gala, ABT announced a new initiative, the Misty Copeland Ballet Access Program, focused on offering free tickets to children, families, and seniors in partnership with your foundation, the Misty Copeland Foundation. What inspired you to create your foundation in 2021, and what's the mission and impact you hope to make?
Really, everything that I do is because of an experience that I've had, or because, whether it be positive or negative, and how can we either expand on this positive experience or change the reasons that I didn't have a positive experience. And so in starting ballet at a community center and being really discovered, it was really the inspiration for starting my foundation. I was given an opportunity and access and a safe environment to explore dance and ballet. For me, it was with the goal in mind to become a professional. My teacher saw me and she said, you have all that it takes, and I think this is something that we can do. But for me, I wanted to be able to take all of those incredible assets and tools and skills that I've learned by being a part of the ballet world and give it to these communities that could really benefit from having it, and for me, it's not about creating future dancers in these communities. It's about creating future leaders. And so that was the idea with our signature program, our first program. It's called Be Bold. Ballet Explorations, Ballet Offers Leadership Development. So it's a free ballet class. Right now, we're still a new foundation. It's only been 3 years that our program has been up and running. But right now we're in the Bronx and we're in Harlem. And we were very, intentional about the communities that we chose, that don't have access to dance and specifically ballet. So it's a free ballet class. It's being offered at community centers. I wanted to be able to meet these children where they are, to make them feel seen and heard, and that it's a curriculum that we've created that's been built for them. It's live music in every class. There's 2 teaching artists in every class. The teachers that look like them, that even come from their neighborhoods. A lot of them live a block away from the community centers that they're teaching at. So we've just been really intentional about, who's serving the children. And I think that's something that the ballet world could learn from.
Yes.
And that I think could really play a huge role in seeing a change in the pipeline, in getting more diversity. That I think that when not just the children, but when the parents feel safe and that their children are being seen and protected, and can thrive, then you'll see more wanting to be invested and involved. And so this to me, I never imagined I would find as fulfilling of work that I've felt throughout my career performing on stage. And I do, with this work in the foundation. And it just makes complete sense to be able to take my experiences and give it back to communities that I think could use it.
That's wonderful. What are your ambitions for the foundation, say 5-10 years from now?
There's so many people to serve. And so, I'm not looking to have this grow immensely, in the next 5-10 years. I want it to be done with thought and care. And, right now we're staying within the communities we're in because we want there to be impact there before we move on. Real impact and trust in us within these communities, and that we're not just kind of dropping in and leaving. And so, I would love to expand into other places that need it, and just to continue to bring dance to different groups of people. Right now, we just launched a new program this year called Be Bolder, and it's for an older generation of dancers to get to explore dance and all the benefits that come with it. And we're keeping it within the same communities. So you're really kind of getting this full experience of what it is for everyone in the community to experience dance. So I hope to continue to impact as many people through ballet and through my love of the art form.
Sounds wonderful. How can people get involved?
MistyCopelandFoundation.org. You can learn more about us there. We're on social media as well, and I'm at Misty on Point, so you can find out everything there is to know about what I'm doing through my Instagram.
Excellent. So you've now moved from center stage to the boardroom. In addition to the Misty Copeland Foundation, you serve on the boards of Lincoln Center and the Shed, a cultural arts center. And I'm also incredibly excited that you were unanimously elected to the Board of Trustees of ABT, which I also serve on. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What drew you to these leadership roles, wanting to serve on boards, and how do you hope to shape the future of ballet through the boardroom?
I often just, speak about the importance of representation on stage and seeing yourself reflected. In the last 5 years, I've felt that being a Black body on the stage to me is no longer enough. And yes, I've seen change and growth, but there's only so much you can do with that platform. And I think to see real change, you've got to have a seat at the table in the room where these decisions are being made. And I think it was Alex Poots, artistic director of the Shed, was one of the first people that I really had, this type of conversation with about, what it means to have an artist on the board. And he was actually the first person that extended the offer for me to join the Shed board. And I'm honored to have kind of broken in my teeth there, I guess, with such a forward-thinking, forward-looking institution as the Shed. And really, I guess, understanding the importance of having the voice of an artist, of a woman of color, and then, being able to have the experience of an incredible board like Lincoln Center, and all the history that they have and experience. And hopefully I can bring, some of these experiences with me to American Ballet Theatre's board. I'm just excited to be able to be a voice for the dancers through my own experiences, but also removing some of my experiences as well, and coming in with an open mind and not just with a narrow, perspective. But at the same time, I think listening to and hearing the dancers and seeing how I can maybe be an opening. I think that maybe a lot of board members don't have any idea of what the perspective of a dancer is and what goes on, and that we're all working towards the same goal. So I hope that I can kind of bring some light and opportunity to be like a liaison maybe between the dancers and the board. But I'm just so hopeful for the future of dance, period. I mean, I wouldn't be still doing this if I didn't feel that we could do this and have belief in people and belief that, people are coming at it from the right place in their hearts and wanting this to be an art form that's sustainable.
You said it, that we are all in service of the organization and have the same goals, but it is so critical to have more diverse voices in the boardroom because that is where many decisions get made. So we are really welcoming your perspective.
Thank you.
So Misty, as someone who's broken so many barriers, how has your definition of leadership evolved over time?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved a lot. It's really interesting to think about. I think just naturally, I've just always kind of gone with my gut and my instincts in terms of like making decisions, and I guess that would be considered leadership. But just kind of trusting things that feel right to me and doing the right thing. Whether it's even just like extending myself to other dancers and being there for them and thinking about the bigger picture and the whole of the community or of the company or whatever it is. And I remember I was a soloist in the company, and I remember Kevin McKenzie. I was doing a lot of work with the Boys and Girls Club at the time, and I don't know, it was very busy. I was doing a lot, and I was very excited about, the opportunity to be able to speak about dance in different ways. And I remember Kevin saying to me that he was very impressed by the way that I've stepped up as a leader. And then later on, when he promoted me, he said to me that that's one of the greatest qualities that I had as a principal dancer was showing leadership skills, which I found so interesting. Like I just never, it's not something that I guess as dancers we're thinking about. When we're thinking about what does it take to be a principal dancer, and you're not, I guess, necessarily thinking of that, but you are a leader, and you have a responsibility to carry an entire company with you on your shoulders in an evening, or even just the way you represent yourself. And I think that all of those things have just happened out of I don't know, just taking all of the things that art and dance have given me and wanting to give it back in any way I possibly can. And so, I don't know, leadership can being sensitive and empathetic and being open and vulnerable. And, it's not just about, I think, being like tough and strong, that there are so many beautiful ways to show leadership. I think that's how I've evolved as a leader, that like I've kind of embraced and accepted all these parts of myself, and that they can be leadership skills as well.
So, I'm classically trained in ballet as well. Did not have a professional ballet career, but danced professionally in modern dance. And after I transitioned into business, I realized that there were a lot of things that I learned from dance that were benefiting me as a leader in business. As you think about your career, what have you learned in terms of leadership skills from dance that you apply today or feel are relevant for other people?
I think the way that the ballet class is structured, I think, is so brilliant and so beautiful. And I think that everyone should experience this type of like setup for themselves in life. And so I think about it's affected how I approach everything in my life, whether it's sitting down and writing a book, preparing to give speeches on the speaking circuit, or preparing for my day as a mother. It's I think having this consistency of routine. It's walking into a space and almost being a blank canvas, but being ready to be open and vulnerable and accepting of what's going to come at you. I mean, as a dancer, that's what we have to do. It's understanding the rigor that you have to put in the work, but not to forget the joy that comes with that. Being sensitive to, I guess, yourself, but also to those around you, like you're a part of a whole and a community. And all of these things I've learned through dance, and I take them with me into every space that I'm in. I think dancers are some of the strongest people you'll ever meet.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, they're very sensitive. And so it's like finding that balance. And I think that ballet has given me that. I think every leader should experience that.
Yes, I think everything you said rings true. And I hope all the business professionals listening to this episode are taking notes. So transitions can be really hard, especially when you're transitioning from something that you love that is so core to your identity. You will always be a ballerina, but you've already invested in becoming so much more. You're an entrepreneur, an author, founder, producer, spokesperson, mom, and an activist. What are you excited about in particular with this next chapter?
I feel like I've already really kind of tapped into this next chapter over the last 5 years. So I feel like I've kind of been walking in this journey for some time now. But I'm excited to be able to really dive into storytelling in a way that represents like the stories I want to hear. I've already been doing it, whether it's through the books that I'm writing, and I've dipped my toe in producing, but we've got a lot of really exciting projects on the horizon that we are using movement and dance to be able to bring even more to storytelling and just the value of movement and dance in storytelling. But it's exciting just to be able to come at it from a different approach. Throughout my career, I've been a vessel of, and not necessarily been able to give my own perspective or, whatever it is with the ballets that I'm performing. So to be able to step into this space, and I want to continue performing and dancing, but I want to do things that I want to do, and I want to tell stories that I'm excited about and collaborate with artists that I respect and that I've kind of been like waiting and to find the right time to collaborate with. So I'm excited to create. I'm excited to explore and to have fun doing it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you're open. It sounds like you're open to where things take you next.
Yeah, I am.
You became a mom during the pandemic to your son, Jackson. How has motherhood changed your perspective on life and what's important to you?
Well, I think it's amazing to not to have someone else to think about. Are you
saying dancers are self-centered?
It's so interesting because I don't think they are, but they have to be. And I've battled with this my whole career, is that you have to focus on yourself. You have to pour into yourself. And it's just, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm so sick of myself. I've go through these cycles of okay, I'm in it. And then I'm like, ugh, I'm so sick of just thinking about myself and my body and looking in the mirror all the time. And so to have my son come along and just be like, I don't care about anything that's going on with me. I can just pour into this little human being. Of course, there's a balance. You have to take care of yourself in order to be there for someone else. But I think it's taught me even more just patience. And I think I'm already a pretty patient person. But I think that it's really just taught me even more patience and just the beauty in creation. I guess that's maybe why I'm even more excited about it now, is having experienced, the creation of this amazing little boy and just seeing him evolve. Like I was saying at the top of the show, that I felt like he changed overnight after coming on the stage at Lincoln Center at the Coke, and just to see this constant evolution. It's changed me in ways I'm sure I don't even realize yet. But I love being a mom. I always knew I would be a mom, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and so much more to come.
Yeah,
To see as you
you're
develop.
like, just wait.
No, it's also wonderful. All good, all good. So you've described your husband, Olu, as a grounding force. What have you learned about partnership through your marriage and in life that's helped sustain you through such an extraordinary and public career?
I love that you asked this question. I don't feel like that I've ever really been asked something so focused on the incredible, I don't know, tools and just everything that my husband's given to me. We met when I was just 21. We've been together for 20-ish years.
How did you meet?
We met out at a nightclub here in Manhattan. I was in the midst of my spring season at the Metropolitan Opera House, like a night off, and he was in the middle of getting his law degree at Emory. So it was his last night in New York. He was interning at a law firm. But I guess, I mean, I've been open to relationships, but, I watched my mom marry and divorce like 5 times. And I had such an unstable upbringing. So it's very interesting, I guess. I don't know, having found my partner so young, we were together for over a decade, maybe 12 years before we were married. But he was just always so patient with me. And he always understood the importance of my career and that he never wanted to kind of get in the way, as he would say. He waited until the day after I was promoted to principal dancer to propose to me because he didn't want any distractions. He's just very thoughtful. But I think he really showed me what true partnership is. And it's collaboration. It's patience and understanding. And he's just taught me so much. Like I run everything by him because I trust him so much. I think he's the most creative and brilliant man, and he's shaped me as a woman and as a businesswoman. And he was really the one behind me with the foundation, like the importance of doing it. And even on those days, I remember when I was starting out with my philanthropic advisor, Jane Poland, who's an incredible woman, it was just the two of us. And on those days when I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I've got so much going on. And I felt like, I was kind of on my own, and Jane was great, but he was like, it's going to pass. He's like, just think about all the things you've done in your career when you first start out and how difficult it is. You're going to build a team and you're going to trust them. And it's like, I'm here now. And I'm so thankful and grateful that I listened. And I couldn't be more grateful for him and that Jackson has him as an example.
Yes. It's so important to have somebody who just believes in you unconditionally and is there for you. So wonderful. In your latest book, Letters to Misty, you share advice on how to move through life with confidence and grace. What advice would you give to the next generation about navigating your career while staying true to yourself?
Surround yourself with people you trust and that people that are going to be there to support you. I think that's been probably like my super strength throughout my career is having people in my corner that I can rely on and that I can lean on when I'm exhausted, when I don't believe in myself, with whatever happens, whatever your dreams and goals are. It's so important to have other people that are around you that are going to be a support system to you.
Misty, you are an icon in the ballet world and honestly one of one. What do you want your legacy to be now that you're moving to this next chapter?
Yeah, I think that I've spent so much of my career, focused on, as we've been talking about, on me and developing myself as a dancer. And yes, I want people to remember my dancing, but I think that my true, legacy and what I want to leave behind is opening the doors for all people to feel like this is something they can do, that ballet is for everyone. Ballet, I think, is no longer just a European art form, but that it's something that everyone can benefit being a part of, being exposed to. Joy, dance. It should be a natural part of life.
Great advice. Misty, it's been such a joy to have this conversation with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm looking forward to partnering with you on the board and looking forward to seeing what you do next.
Thank you so much.
Like, follow, and share The Leadership Dance, where we explore how to choreograph the career of your dreams and chat with visionary leaders in the arts and business worlds. Until next time, keep dancing.